There are a few questions, and I'm supposed to answer these pretty truthfully and in depth. So this is just honestly what I think. It could be different from Rebecca thinks. There's only one way to find out, though.
Where were you when you heard the news, and how did you react?
Well, first of all, we were both in Japan.
We were in Japan on our honeymoon when we found out that we were pregnant. About a month after the wedding. So the wedding was August 24th, and then our honeymoon to Japan was September 22nd.
And we had to think about it, and we also had to do a little bit of research because it wasn't like a full positive test.
I wasn't entirely sure that the tests that I was using were accurate.
And luckily I knew enough Japanese and I knew where to go to get a pregnancy test.
I mean, it was something that I had bought in Japan at a convenience store.
And so I took Rebecca there. We got
4 different ones.
And so we tried 2 of them that day, and I think 1 more in the morning or vice versa.
And the first 2, I wasn't really sure whether it was positive or not. It took a little bit more time to develop into a positive.
And so when we reviewed that online, it said that it's supposed to be like that. So we're like, we're having a baby.
My first reaction was kind of surreal after that.
We were super, super excited because we wanted to have a baby, and I wanted to have a baby for the longest time. Honestly, I think that made the honeymoon, and it was a good thing that we had the delayed honeymoon a month later. So, let's see, who suspected the pregnancy first? I thought about it, but it's gonna have to be Rebecca.
Anthony always knew when it was my time of month. He's like, you should be on your period right now, and I was like, no. It could be a little bit late.
I thought about that stuff. I wasn't 100% sure.
He kind of knew, and he was the one that made us go buy the tests.
So I would have to say that was her.
Did you want a boy or a girl? So a lot of people ask me this question. They ask me, do you want a boy or a girl?
Me? I thought I wanted a boy. I've always wanted a girl. So it's kind of like up in the air.
I just wanted to have a happy baby.
I helped raise my little sister when we first got her from the hospital. So was always attached to raising a girl.
I did not want to have multiples. So when people would ask me, do you want a boy or a girl? I was like, either, just not both.
But of course I want a boy. And just a little more relation there when he grows up. And I'd rather want that sooner than later.
So you can reuse blue stuff for a girl, whereas you can't necessarily reuse pink stuff for a boy.
That's why I would want a boy, but definitely I'd love to have a girl.
There's typically a lot more production and more iron in the production of milk when a mother has a girl, iron and calcium. There's just a little bit of difference in the milk that a mother produces when she has a female versus when she has a male. And I really want to have a good, solid breastfeeding experience for my first child.
Who told the family about the baby first, and who was the first person to find out?
Anthony was the first person to tell family, and he told Emilsa, which is his mom.
I definitely told my family first.
I am not very good at announcements. it makes me feel really weird to announce anything, like going up to someone and being like, hey, guess what? We're pregnant. Like, that was always something weird for me.
We ended up still telling the parents pretty soon as well. Soon after my parents.
And he was perfectly happy with sharing the information with anybody and everybody.
Rebecca left it up to me, and I don't remember at this point, so, what can I say?
If you could have your way, what would you want Michaela to be when she grows up?
Something that makes her happy and puts her in a place that is influential.
I think that I would like for her to have musical talent, and I'd like for her to kind of develop her musical talents over time, just because I grew up in a very musical family. Anthony is also very musical and grew up to be that way. He plays cello and harp and piano. Not necessarily that I would want her to go into a career for music, but just that I would want that to be one of her talents that she develops over time.
And it's not necessarily like a doctor. It doesn't have to be like a certain big job, but something that can influence other people to do good things. And there's different ways to do that. Managers can do that at a lower level.
I think it would be a lot easier to kind of connect with her on that level and to kind of help her through her career if she chose something that was similar to something that we do. If she ends up being really good at math and goes into, let's say, IT or accounting, I won't be able to assist her at all with any of those things.
I would love to see one of my kids be something that's exciting, like a paleontologist or someone who's an archaeologist or a marine biologist, whatever it is that makes them just go out and learn more about the world.
If I had to have a choice, it would be something that I could maybe help her with or give some advice for.
But of course, that's not up to me, so we'll see.
What are you most concerned about when it comes to being a new parent?
I have no idea how much it's going to cost. That's my number one concern.
The delicate balance between discipline and loving.
Because I know Rebecca and I are getting by just fine, and then she's not going to be working for a bit. And how's that working out?
I really, really want to institute in my children that communication is key, and I want them to always feel like they can come to me for anything. And I wouldn't want the way that I discipline my children to make them feel like they can't tell me the truth or they have to hide things from me. I just wouldn't want them to feel uncomfortable talking to me in any way. But I know that there has to be a balance there.
I know it will work out, but only time will tell.
Who will change more diapers?
Probably Rebecca.
I think I will definitely change more diapers. I'm going to be a lot more active with the baby when it comes to nighttime.
At the same time, I could say me because she would have me change diapers more. If she asked, I would change the diaper.
I wake up so much easier than Anthony does, and I wake up to the smallest things. And then, of course, there's motherly instincts. I'm just gonna get up whenever I feel like the baby needs something.
But Rebecca's the kind of person, like, if there's something that needs to be done, she goes and does it.
But I know that Anthony doesn't have any problem changing diapers, and so I won't be the only one.
If that's the case, then maybe I could be changing more diapers. More than likely, though, it'll be Rebecca.
Who will spoil Michaela the most?
Probably me.
Definitely Anthony will spoil Michaela the most.
Rebecca will have a lot more power to just go and get Michaela things. When it comes to actually spoiling Michaela, though, I can't even say whether or not it's Rebecca and I feel like it could be my brother, my sister, or one of her siblings.
He is a spoiler. I mean, he spoils me all the time, so I can totally see it.
This would be the second grandson of my parent, or grandchild of my parents. So it'll be the second one, so that's going to be a big thing. So it's possible my parents could spoil her the most.
And he loves babies, and he's so excited. He's super, super excited. And so I can just imagine him just losing all sense of everything and wanting to do anything and everything for his little girl that he possibly can.
Who's more likely to put on a baby's diaper backwards?
I would say probably me as well. Like I said before, I'm going to be changing diapers when I'm half awake a lot of the times.
I know how to put on a baby's diaper, and Rebecca does too. I can't really say. Probably Rebecca, just because the more you do it, the more likely you're gonna mess up at some point in time.
So that's probably gonna happen to me a lot.
She'll be changing diapers more than likely, more often. It's whoever's gonna be changing the most diapers. So if it's me, then it's gonna be me.
Who picked the baby's middle name?
Rebecca.
I picked the baby's middle name, so her name would be Michaela Laura Butler. I kind of had an idea of some of the names that I wanted for my children before I met Anthony, and we actually went over names fairly early on in our dating life.
But she picked all the middle names because all the middle names were meaningful from somebody in her life.
The reasons for the names that I chose is a lot of them have like a really sentimental value or sentimental meaning to me. And Laura, the middle name Laura, means a lot to me. My best friend in high school, Laura Pang, was like the coolest person ever, and I love her.
So Laura was her best friend for years.
Like I was in a point where I had kind of lost the friends that I had in junior high, going into 9th grade, going into high school. I knew somebody that was friends with one of my siblings who was in my grade. Her name was Arissa, and Laura was part of Arissa's friend group. And she was wacko and crazy and spontaneous, and she was everything that I needed and wanted in a friend. And I have had so many great, great memories with her, and I love her so much.
Who will take more photos of the baby?
It's definitely gonna be me.
Rebecca for sure. Like, I don't normally take a ton of photos. Rebecca takes the photos.
I know that Anthony is like gonna be so obsessed with the baby when she comes, and he's gonna want to spend all the time that he possibly can with her. But he's just not a picture taker.
A lot of the photos you see, Rebecca probably took.
I'm definitely more of a picture taker than he is.
What was the pregnancy like from your experience? I mean, for me, it was no sweat, but
I've been really lucky to have a really easy pregnancy so far. Right now, I'm starting to get big, so I'm definitely feeling the fact that I'm large. Like, I don't really care as much that I look big, it's more about like how it feels. I've been calling myself, and Anthony's been calling me, roly-poly wifey, because I have to kind of like roll everywhere I go. I can't just sit up, I have to like roll over to sit up.
I had to take care of Rebecca a lot more. I massaged her more. She definitely asked for more back rubs because she has a sway back. And so I gave her a lot more back rubs. I went out and got a lot of stuff.
I know that I was a little bit like emotional. Movies would make me cry much more than normal. Just random videos would make me cry. Like, everything touched me emotionally. I didn't really have any morning sickness. I didn't really have any major cravings. The weirdest thing about my pregnancy was that I never eat sweets normally, and I wanted to eat sweets all the time.
I was going out and getting a lot of the things even when I started working at home. She would say she doesn't want to go out and get something, but I would go ahead and do that anyways.
Hey, you want a chocolate chip cookie? Yeah, actually, I'm kind of in the mood for a chocolate chip cookie right now. Or like cake. I'm in the mood for cake. I ate a lot of chocolate cake at the start of my pregnancy, and I ordered candy off of Amazon because I have no self-control.
How did you decide on your theme for the nursery?
So the theme for our nursery is going to be dinosaurs, and the color is going to be like blue and gray. I've just always really liked blues for babies, just in general, not just for boys and girls. And I like the atmosphere of blue in like a sleep setting. So whenever I'm thinking about baby, I'm usually thinking about napping, I'm thinking about calm.
I don't know how to answer that because I think you guys are talking about maybe the dinosaurs in this case.
The whole egg theme, like when we did our announcement and then when we did the gender reveal, both of those were egg themed. So I kind of wanted to stick to something egg themed when we did the baby shower. So I was looking at a bunch of dinosaur stuff and just fell in love with dinosaur stuff, and I'm like totally obsessed with dinosaurs now. And now I see them everywhere I go. Whenever I see anything that has a dinosaur pattern on it, I'm like, oh, I want that.
We're definitely going to want to have to talk to Rebecca about that one.
So I guess that's the reason why the nursery is going to be mainly dinosaur themed.
Who will become the main disciplinarian?
Disciplinarian.
I cannot say that right now. I've been talking all day. I've been on the phone for 9 hours.
Everything that Anthony and I do or have done throughout our marriage has been very in tandem.
I want to say Rebecca, but we're really good teachers, so when it comes to disciplinary action, we both would do it properly, probably the way we both want to.
We always communicate with each other on finances, we communicate with each other on like everything. We have different roles. Like, there are some bills that I keep track of to make sure that they go through. There are some things that he keeps track of. He does the laundry. I don't ever hardly do laundry, and I do the dishes, he doesn't hardly ever do dishes, but for the most part it's kind of been back and forth, and I think that that's kind of how it will end up being when it comes to disciplining the children. It's just kind of like gonna be natural for us to do like a back and forth.
Sometimes I would let someone learn from their own experiences, even if it's like a bad experience, like don't put your hand on the stove. I'm not going to try to repeat that so many times. Like if they want to do it, they're going to figure it out. Don't do it. Even if I have to deal with like the after effects of that, as long as they learn and know, then you don't really have to teach them anymore.
How many kids do you want to have?
Me, I'm probably still set on between 4 to 6 kids, but depending on our income, we probably will get more kids.
Like when I was younger, I thought maybe 6. I've always kind of been around between 4 and 6. I think now 4 is a pretty good number for me.
It's also up to Rebecca on how many times she wants to be pregnant. And once she starts having her period again, I bet her answer's going to change than what she's giving right now.
How long do you think you'll wait before trying for another?
Honestly, I'd probably give it to the end of the year to really think about that. And personally, I do want to try to avoid birth control.
I like the idea of having children really close together. I don't really want to have children into my 30s, and I know that if you have children 5 years apart, you're going to end up having kids in your 30s.
I want to avoid birth control because so far from the people who have used birth control, there's a delay between getting off of birth control and then being able to conceive a child. And that's what I'm worried about. And I feel like if we do that route, like Rebecca's already healthy, and we don't need to put her body into a state where she's not able to have a child at all.
I'm thinking maybe we might wait a little while and have them a little bit more spaced out, but I don't want them to be any further apart than 2 years apart. So I want to try to pump out as many babies as I can in my 20s, as close together as I can, and then live the rest of my life taking care of my kids and not being pregnant.
When it's time, it's time. It's going to come. Are there any traditions in your family that you will want to continue with your children?
One thing I've been thinking about a lot recently is my mom kind of gave each of the kids their own personal song that she would sing them to bed with. And everybody had their own special song. And so I know what my song is. And I would love to have that same thing for my children. Like, this is your song. This is what I use to sing you to bed specifically. And then if I wanted to sing another child to bed, I would use a different song for them.
Every Christmas, I like to go up north. I do want to be able to do that with my own kids. And for that, I would need a good vehicle and everything else that is kind of like a necessity in life. So I plan on getting to that point to have that luxury to go out and actually get out of town.
Another thing that's not entirely traditional, but something that I know that my mom did, is that she didn't give us sweets until after like the first year, after we were about 1 year old. Of course, this didn't work for everybody. Some of them ended up getting sweets before then. Dad. The dads are always the one to spoil the kids. So, but I would like to do that as well and not feed my children sweets for the first year. Anthony knows that, but I don't know that I can trust him. So we'll see how that goes.
It's really nice to actually go on vacation somewhere. It doesn't even have to be up north in Arizona. It can be in a different location. My parents have a timeshare, and I know we're more than welcome to use it. So I just want to be able to take my kid and go somewhere and just explore our world.
When it comes to Christmas time, I like the way that we always did Christmas, that you would wait until everybody was awake to go open up your presents. You could open up your stockings if you wanted to, but presents were always done together as a family, and you would open the presents one by one, and I really liked that. It kind of made it feel like Christmas lasted longer because you were opening gifts for a longer period of time. Kind of felt like you had more gifts because you were watching everybody else open theirs while you were waiting to open yours. So I really liked how we did that.
That's something I would like to do, is just being able to actually travel, which are one of the biggest points I remember during my childhood. Even if it's just camping, doing scouting or other stuff like that, I want to be able to keep that.
I think that's about it.
covers everything. Rebecca's still the better driver.